So welcome to the Emotional Sobriety Workshop. I'm really glad you guys could attend. We have 8 speakers, all sharing very focused levels of recovery from addiction, but also deeper dives into their own emotional sobriety. We're here to share our experience, strength, and hope, what emotional sobriety is, what it entails, how we strive for it, how we reach certain levels of it. And we hope that this workshop adds to your recovery and helps you in finding your own solutions. But I would like to set us on the right path by taking a moment of silence and doing the serenity prayer so we could set our intentions for this workshop. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This is a workshop that's open to all fellowships because gaining spiritual awareness and emotional sobriety is the most important journey many of us will ever go on. Letting go of the drink, the drug, or the compulsive behavior is merely just the first step, although a very vital and important one. We strive for what made us need to drink, drug, or act out to be resolved within ourselves in a sufficient and substantial way that allows us to feel our own authenticity and normality. So we welcome you. This is a workshop that is not put on by any particular fellowship, but on behalf of the Meeting Space, which is a nonprofit. And we want to offer workshops like this for free so everybody can come. We're passing a basket for donations, and there's a raffle, 50-50 raffle if you want to partake. And all of it goes to help the Meeting Space do these kinds of events. Our first speaker, this is a woman who I met 20 years ago when I first moved to Las Vegas. She was the very first person that I met in a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous, or I was one of the 3 first people that I met. The other one happens to be my boyfriend, which is a totally long story. But when we first met each other, because we both had similar personalities, I feel like we butted heads. You know, we both were very much the leaders and the alphas and whatever, and we were both named Lisa T. We were both from the East Coast, and it was just, when you have somebody that mirrors stuff for you, if you haven't gone to a point where you're able to see past it, that's what happened. And then over the years, that softened, but during COVID, she was the one person who acted sponsory to me. During COVID, when we were open, we stayed open as an essential business and had 10 people per room per meeting, and it was a lot to walk through that. And she was there, and I was like, can you please be my sponsor? Because we had reached a place where not only were we so good together, but she had what I wanted, and I do feel like that's a perfect example of emotional sobriety is the recognition that I need to be with people who are focused on the solution. I need to be where my soul says yes. And I need to be willing to be vulnerable and feel feelings for going to deeper and deeper levels of recovery. She's a crier. She's probably crying right now. But no. Because she is in touch with her feelings. But without further ado, I'm going to have Lisa come up and speak on emotional sobriety.
Hi everyone, Lisa, grateful alcoholic. And my sobriety date is July 12th, 1976. And emotional sobriety. I don't even know sometimes what that is, but I do know how I don't, when I say I don't know what it is, I mean, I don't know how to explain it. It's just a feeling. Like so many things for me, and here I go, I'm going to start. Like so many things, it's just a feeling. I'm not going to tell you what emotional sobriety should be to you, because that's not the way I work. Emotional sobriety is relative to each one of us, just like everything is relative to each one of us. We each have our own bottom to hit. We each have our own program that we have to take it, what works for us. And for me, if anybody told me what I was supposed to think and what I was supposed to feel I would have told him, fuck you, and I would have walked out. Because that's just not who I am. As it was enough for me to stay here this long. But I was thinking about this the other day, when I got sober, my sponsor always used to say to me, Lisa, just do the next right indicated thing. And that used to annoy the piss out of me. And I hear a lot of people say, do the next indicated thing. And, I was thinking about that. I heard that in a meeting the other day. And I always did the next indicated thing. But it was never the right indicated thing. It was the next indicated thing, which usually entailed me like maybe punching somebody in the face or pulling a knife on you or doing something, relatively emotionally sober. But so for me, I have to do the next right indicated thing. And that is so important. If I'm doing the next right indicated thing, then I'm following my instinct and what I feel my higher power wants, where my higher power wants me to be and where my higher power wants me to go. I say he, I don't think it's a he, I don't think it's a she, I just think it's an energy somewhere out there in the universe. But it's my instinct, it's what I feel. And if it's the next right indicated thing, I'm not going to be punching anybody in the face. And I'm not going to be pulling knives on anybody. So how do I get there? For me, it was a long journey. Some of you who know me know that my husband passed away in 2002. And I was so pissed off. I had been working and he was sick and I was taking care of him. And taking care of him, I stopped answering the phone. I stopped picking up the phone. I stopped going to meetings. So by the time he passed away, I was totally disconnected from the program. And I was so pissed off because, God fucked me over one more time. And I was on a 7-year hiatus. And coming back to the program, that's when I met Lisa. And yes, and we did clash. And the reason why I think we clashed so much is because somebody used to say to me all the time that character defects I see in others are oftentimes my own. And I didn't like it because it's the truth. So since 2013, when I came back to the program, I feel that's when my journey to emotional sobriety really started, because I was so miserable when I was out there doing my thing, and then I was so miserable for those 7 years that I stayed away from Alcoholics Anonymous, that I didn't want to be like that no more. What was it that was going to help me to not be like that, to not be that miserable, to not want to punch people in the face or run them over and kill myself or whatever? Because that's not very emotionally sober. And what I found out it was, gee, imagine that, just putting these steps and these principles in my life on a daily basis. Who would have thought? Did it say something like that in the book somewhere? But, for me, that's the truth. For me, that's the truth. That if I wake up in the morning and I remind myself that I'm an alcoholic. I'm not one of those people that hit my knees right away. God bless you for those people that do that. You're great. I can't do that. But I remind myself I'm an alcoholic. I tell myself that I'm not the guy in charge anymore. And I put my higher power in charge. I say my prayers. I do my readings. I do my meditation. And I practice these principles to the best of my ability in all of my affairs. And that seems so simple, and it really is simple. It's not always easy, but it's a very simple thing to do. And the thing I find that has helped me the most is step 10. Because I cannot be emotionally sober if I am lying to myself on a daily basis. I cannot be emotionally sober if I'm in denial about my character defects. and how I act and interact with people. So for me, that 10th step is so very important. I don't like looking at myself, but I have to. If I don't want to be crazy, and if I don't want to commit suicide again. I screwed up.
It's okay. I'm
Okay. So, I don't know if I can do, how much more time I got? I don't know if I can do 20 minutes.
You're fine. Do as much as you feel, and then we'll just go.
But for me, the importance of looking at myself hard on a daily basis, asking myself those questions that, you know, have I been selfish? Have I been self-centered? Have I been fearful? You know, for me, fear is such a nasty thing, because fear brings out the worst in me, because it will make me, it adds to my anger, it adds to my frustration, it adds to my everything. So I try very hard, and I'm not going to say I never have any fear, because that would be bullshit. I'd either be lying or I'm dead. But I try to recognize that I have fear and work through it and not act on it and not act out on it, because that's a dangerous thing for me, because I can be really nasty. I try not to be, but I can be very nasty. So, you know, my suggestion, if anybody is struggling with emotional sobriety, and if you don't know what that is, neither do I. It's just a feeling. It's when I feel okay within myself, when I'm not anxious, and when I'm not angry, and when I'm not running on fear and allowing fear and my emotions to dictate how I live my life, then I feel, for me, that's emotional sobriety. So if you're crazy in the head, you know, batshit crazy, maybe you need to start doing something different, because batshit crazy wasn't working for me, and the way I was doing my life wasn't working for me, obviously. So I'm so very grateful that I came back to the program. I'm so very grateful that I had a sponsor. I got a sponsor that kicked my ass again, because apparently I need that a lot. And that I finally got the message that just do what the book tells me to do. Just do what the program tells me to do. And when I do that, I'm going to be okay. You know, not going to be perfect, but I'm going to be okay. And I hear people all the time, well, the 10th step doesn't really matter. And I don't do it very often, but try it for 30 days. You know, what do you got to lose? You know, if it puts you in a better place, well, then it's a good thing. If it doesn't put you in a better place, well, maybe you need to try something else. But anyway, that's all I can think of. And I'm so grateful to be here. And I'm so grateful to Lisa, because, gee, I love doing this. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
So because we have a little time and I am a Gemini, I will fill up what Lisa left.
Yes, that's the other thing we have in common. We're both Geminis. And we haven't killed each other yet.
No,
we came close.
there's no killing. There's no killing happening. It really leaves a good question. What is emotional sobriety? You know, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about this in depth later this afternoon, but from my own definition, because I came into recovery believing that I'm not supposed to be feeling feelings, that I have to act like I have it all together. And I come from an addicted family where, you know, both my parents were addicts, and there was no talking, no trusting, no feeling, nothing. When I would feel a feeling, it would trigger my parents, and because it would trigger them and they would get angry and they would withdraw their affection and approval from me, I felt like, okay, I get it. I have to be like them, stoic. I have to be able to show that I can handle everything. And so I learned how to stuff my feelings, but by the age of 12, I had to start using things to help me do that. There's not enough room in me to stuff all of that. And so I become displaced by my own emotion, and I can't be in my own skin. I get this irritable, restless, and discontent feeling where I feel like I need to be anywhere but here with anybody but you, being anybody but me, anytime but now. And that, I can go off and build stories and blame everybody else, or be a martyr and blame myself and tell myself what a piece of shit I am. And I'll have moments in between emotional binges, drunks, and then hangovers, where I'll feel like, okay, I have relief. I just need to hold on to this. That idea of emotional sobriety was elusive to me in the beginning, because to me it meant like I need to act like everything's okay. And every time I would heal something, I'd be like, now I got it. I'm good now. Only to find out I don't have it, because another thing needs to come up to heal. And so I'll be going into detail more about that process for me later. But what I have come to understand for myself, and I have 26 years, like half of what she has, but I have 26 years sobriety. And in this time, what I've come to realize is that I need to have a totally different relationship with feelings. I need to see them as a gauge. I need to see them as information. I need to be able to tell when it's telling me I'm off the beam or something is not right. It's going to give me the clues of where I'm not authentic and honest with myself, where I'm doing something I shouldn't, where I'm not listening to my higher power, where I'm not centered. And it's going to tell me when there's something coming up to heal that's hysterical because it's historical. And if I am emotionally sober, I have enough room, enough tools, enough people and support and meetings in my life to be able to spread that stuff out, feel my feelings on it, and get down to cause and condition. And it's the same tools, it's the same stuff. We just go deeper and deeper. As one thing heals, it allows us to have the courage and the space to heal another. So emotional sobriety is not what I thought it was. It's not feeling your feelings. And it's certainly not apologizing for your feelings. Like, oh, I'm so sorry I'm crying. I'm so sorry I'm angry. It's like, no, actually, but what's really going on with me? And I love what Lisa said. It's also watching for the ways in which I can end up using it as an excuse to act out, to hurt other people and to distance myself and in that way hurt myself. Emotional sobriety is showing up one day at a time and facing life, and sometimes it's easier, but that doesn't mean we're done. Sometimes it's going to be hard, but when we stay in a solution-oriented mindset and we're willing to question and take responsibility for what's going on with ourselves, we find that we're able to handle life one day at a time. So at this point, since we're moving right along, and Styx also likes to talk. No. We are going to bring Styx up. Styx, I love Styx. Styx has 31 years sobriety, and he is somebody, I've seen lots of people with triple digits or double digits recovery, and they're just crotchety, but I've seen people who are right in the front line and constantly reaching their hand out and constantly willing to talk to somebody and also take responsibility and question each thing and talk humbly enough about what's going on and the things that they're realizing. He's about to say that he doesn't deserve that, but but I love Styx and you will too, so I would like to welcome Styx.
Hello, everybody. My name is Styx, and I'm an alcoholic. Sobriety date 8/16/1993. My home group is the Books Don't Lie group of Alcoholics Anonymous. That's my sponsor right there, Carrie and Lisa. Thank you. And just want to say to everybody here, thank you all for coming. On my way here, I was like, God, let's make sure, like I'm trying to tell God what to do. We all get there. We all get there safe. And I ask that you get us home safe. You know what I mean? So I got y'all back. So great topic. It's a lot of things. You got emotional intelligence, emotional stability, emotional sobriety. Got all of these emotional things that we face and deal with as members of Alcoholics Anonymous. Just for emotional sobriety. Somebody text me like, hey, this thing that you're going to, isn't that breaking traditions? They was talking shit about my sister, but I didn't have to call her and say blah, blah, blah was throwing you under the bus, because we don't roll like that. You know what I mean? And I was like, well, name the tradition that she's breaking and I won't go. And they couldn't name it because we're not breaking traditions. The individual can do as he wish. A group as a whole is autonomous. So as long as they're not doing nothing to hurt AA as a whole, they do what they wish. And this event hosted by Lisa in the meeting space, it's not AA, it's not NA, it's not CA. So we're allowed to do these things. But you got some people that don't have no emotional sobriety trying to make this like it's a bad thing. And, you know, I used to speak for, matter of fact, the same cop that arrested me and sent me to prison asked me at 2 years sober to go speak with him to children, kids, that's gang members and get to carry guns. And I went to go talk to these kids. So do that make me I'm breaking traditions? It's crazy. But this whole emotional thing is like, okay, everybody got their own ideas about how this may look to them. Some people probably don't know how it look. And I ask that everybody that come up here and speak, everybody be open-minded to their lane, because everybody got their own lane. And what I have in my lane is based on work that I've done in this process to understand emotional maturity, emotional intelligence. I'll give you an example. You're riding down the street and somebody almost clip you and they bump, and they playing chicken with you. You know what I mean? When you get to the stop sign, you don't get out of your car, knock on a window, hey. You don't do that. You pray for that person and you go on about your way. Instead of cussing this person out, rolling down your window, throwing stuff out of your window, you don't do that. Because you don't never know what the other person is going through. And somebody, look, we live in a society that it's a lot of people that's off balance. No bullshit. Like they are like off balance. It's a lot of people in AA. Like for instance, I know some of y'all might persecute me for saying this, but I'm gonna keep it real. I think the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous is the least effective part of AA. Why is that? Because we got a lot of people in here is sick. People that ain't done no work. People that want to blame everybody. People that want to judge everybody. People that got a lot of prejudice. People that's in a space where they can't find themselves because it's so much to dig through. But this 12-step process allows you to dig and dig and dig. And you can throw away the shovel 2 days after you're dead. That's just for me. So imagine a conference room, right? That got 6 seats in that conference room. And each one of those seats is a version of me from my childhood all the way up until I got sober. And this process is to get all of those people on the same page, heading in the same direction. Because you got that kid that's blaming everyone. Then you got that person right before you get sober that's blaming everyone. Once we get here and we start to go through this process, we start to develop a way to live that works for us. And everybody ain't gonna be working the same way. See, that's one of the things that like, well, if she's not doing it the way I'm doing it, then she's doing it wrong. No, I need to shut up and let her be in her lane and let her do what she do. So the book gives us all type of ideas of how to deal with emotional stuff. Like for instance, I've had 5 surgeries on my knee and went to the doctor yesterday, might be having another one. And I'm like, how can this work in my life to where I don't complain about it? That's my sponsor right there. He'll tell you he know about every surgery I done had and the emotions behind that surgeries. And I came up with this thing where, well, okay, how can I help somebody through what I've been through? Because we go through some stuff and we have these moments of reality. And the first thing I'm doing now is think about, how can I help somebody through this? Because all of us go through stuff. Thank God we don't go through the stuff at the same time. Sometimes somebody might be coming out of something. Sometimes somebody might be going into something. Yesterday morning, I got a phone call from one of my friends. He goes, Sticks, I want to apologize. Now, I ain't talked to this dude in about 3 months. So I'm like, what is he apologizing to me for? Well, he participated at breakfast the other morning with a group of 6 dudes that had a let's throw sticks under the bus party. But they didn't know that one of my sponsees was sitting there, quiet, just listening. And he calls me and say, I want to apologize. I know you, and I got involved. And when he started to tell me who it was, I go, stop right there. I don't need to know who it was, because here's the deal. This is the real part of this emotional sobriety shit. I don't want to know, because if that person ever needs my help, I'm gonna be, well, they did say this and they did say that and they did, and I don't like that person. Well, God say on page 77 in the big book, our real purpose is to fit ourselves to be of maximum service to Him and to those about us. So the thing is that how can I help somebody when I got a resentment at somebody? How can you do that? I suggest that you don't try to do that. You might tell them some wrong shit. Hey man, look, don't go to no meetings. Don't read nothing in your book. Don't talk to Lisa. So part of my emotional, I want to say emotional maturity, emotional sobriety is understanding that all of us is children of God, and I'm supposed to treat you, because how can I claim I love God, but then you walk in here and I'm like, hey, what's your phone number? Hey, you want to go out? That's legit stuff. But the thing is that I believe that all of the women in Alcoholics Anonymous is my sister. I believe that. So I'm not going to be coming at you. If I like you, I'm going to tell you I like you. If I don't tell you I like you, that means I don't like you. Real simple. I'm not afraid of the word no. It's called growing up in this deal. How many times we've been told no in our lives? 100, well, for me, 200. And when people say no, that don't mean that you lose a couple of days of your sobriety just because they said no to you. See, look, let me keep it real. Man, I'm a man, and we have this fear of women saying no. We overcome that fear by saying, I like you, and she says, we're good, but I don't see you in that way, and that's okay. It's really okay if she say that. It ain't gonna make you go drink. Well, I hope not. I know it won't make me drink. So this your phone, Lisa? Okay, put that over there. I need to find something in the book. It's in the 80s. Lisa got a phone blocking me. Can we get a better podium next time? No, I'm just kidding. As we go, this is page 87. As we go through the day, we pause when agitated or doubtful, and we ask for the right thought or action. We constantly remind ourselves that we are not running the show, humbly asking ourselves many times each day, thy will be done. We are then in less danger of excitement, fear, anger, worry, self-pity, or foolish decisions. So if I'm practicing this, and that's the key word, practice. If I want to get better at something, I have to practice. And this type of stuff right here saves me from myself, saves me from hurting other people. At the end of the day, I don't think nobody wakes up with the ideal of hurting other people. Well, I tell you something, when something is not worked on, that's not worked on will show up. Give it the right reason. It will show up. And one of the things that I want to convey is that people in AA, man, got a lot wrong going on when they first get here. And the first thing I want to do is come into Alcoholics Anonymous and find me a girlfriend instead of a sponsor. Thinking that she's going to fix me. It's not a woman or a person in this room or any other room on this planet that can fix what I have. The only one can fix it is God. And I'm claiming that 24/7. I'm talking about all day, 24/7. It's God. Because the bottom line is that emotional maturity is understanding that I don't put my health, my emotional maturity, my happiness, my ideals for my life, I don't give that to somebody else. Because they can't fix it. People will not, I don't think that it's anybody will love you like you think you need to be loved. And you know why? Because it's not their job. That's your job. So understanding that, okay, I'm going to put my life in this person's hands thinking that he can fix me or she can fix me. And the real truth is that that person can decide my life for me. That person can decide my happiness for me. That person can decide where I work at. That person can decide what meeting I go to. That I'm putting all of that in somebody else's hands, and that person might like me one day and not like me the next day. So I gotta be careful who I invite into my lane. And I got to continue to take a look at these things that's blocking me from being part of what God wants me to be. I'm not a person on this planet that I have a resentment with right now, that I'm angry at right now, because I don't get myself into a whole bunch of stuff that don't fit my purpose. That stuff that dude brought to me about Lisa, I put about 3% energy into that. Because I knew it was BS. So the thing is that I don't have to put myself in those situations. You know what I mean? So emotionally, I have to continue to dig. Am I doing the best that I can do? Or am I being lazy? Or am I thinking that where I'm at right now is good enough? Well, I tell you, I'm 31 years sober. I don't know if what I know now will sustain me at 35 years sober, 32 years sober. I don't know. My birthday is next week.
That's right. Come on.
I'll be 32 years sober next Saturday, right? And I was wondering if anybody in here got a 32-year chip they want to give me. I'm good for it.
No problem.
It's only 1 week.
Looking for a run.
I know I'm good for it. Yeah, y'all just selfish. That's all that is. So, one more thing that I'm looking for in this book. And so sometimes when we hear stuff in meetings, we kind of, sometimes we disagree with it. And sometimes we're like, that's cool. Somebody invited me to the young people's meeting, the Shine a Lights, Saturday Night Live. And then they told me what was going on in that meeting, and I said, I'm good. That's just my thing. I'm not saying the meeting is bad. It's just not my thing. So my thing is books. My thing is spirituality. I remember telling my sponsor, 13 years sober, I went and found my sponsor and I told him, I'm never going to another open participation meeting again in my life. And he goes, Sticks, you know, we go to meetings to give, not to take. So that was the end of that whole conversation. Then he said something else. He said, you know, Sticks, that'd probably be the second dumbest thing you ever said to me. And as I was leaving, I thought, well, maybe I should go find out what was the first dumbest thing I said to him. And I was like, no, we just gonna ride up out of here. We just gonna take on off. Understanding this part of the book, we're talking about page 19. It says at the bottom of the book, most of us sense, this is so cool to me. Most of us sense that real tolerance of other people's shortcomings and their viewpoints, and a respect for their opinion or attitudes, which makes us more useful to others. Our very lives as ex-problem drinkers depends on our constant thought of others and how we may help meet their needs. Now I want to ask y'all, how many of y'all thought about me today and thought about helping meet my needs? Oh, when did you get here? Good to see you, Will. So I like having fun. I like talking, man, and I like talking about this type of stuff. AA is about growing up, understanding that I don't have to place myself in certain situations because I think that's what I need. I'm telling you right now from the podium, believe it or not, what you need comes from God. Comes from the spirituality of this program. How do I deal with somebody? I got two phone calls last week. Hey, Sticks, is such and such going to be at your birthday party? I go, yeah. Well, me and her are not getting along. I go, wait a minute. You got 17 years. Read page 552. No, I don't want to read that page 552. I go, why not? Because it works. Think about that. You give somebody a solution and they don't want to read it because they know it will work. With 17 years sober, I'm not judging her. I'm just saying that, hey man, look, you're coming to see me. You're not coming to see her. Get over your little old feelings and show up. Let's have some fun. So stuff like that, man, it's about growing up. Understanding that it's people in these rooms will not be loyal to you when you are loyal to them. Don't put expectations like, I'm going to be loyal to this person, not knowing that they're not a person that can be loyal to you. And when you know that, you got to run with that. Quit giving people so many chances to hurt you. They done already showed you who they are. And because I think they sexy, I'm going back for round two. And I get the same result I got in round one. Right. Then I'm bothering my sponsor about it again. He had already gave me a solution, but emotionally, I can't accept that solution because I think I need something. Think about this, y'all. We need something that we know is going to hurt us. What type of emotional immaturity is that? And we keep going back. We stay in the mode of growing up, looking at the facts of our lives, accepting what's in front of us, processing, then solution. Acceptance, process, solution. And you won't find what's wrong if you're not digging. Because a lot of times we come in here and we think that we can sweep some stuff up under the rug until we have an outburst. Then somebody say, oh my God, I didn't know you was like that. Really? Alcoholics Anonymous? There's a lot of people walking around as that 7-year-old kid in that conference room, that 15-year-old kid in that conference room, that 21-year-old kid that just says, well, I just like to party, but can't see that he's on his way to death. Why at 21 he's drinking and using so much? That 7-year-old kid probably can tell him if you go talk to him. That's what the process is about. Finding out where it all started. How much time I got left?
Fine.
Finding out where it all started. None of us is perfect. Ain't none of us gonna be perfect. But I wanna bring, like Lisa said, I got a lot of people in my life that I communicate with, men and women. Got a bunch of AA sisters, a couple of AA nieces, and we talk about everything from poop to God. It's crazy when girls talk to you about poop. Dad, Sticks, my poop is blue. I was like, go see a doctor. We want to be growing emotionally constantly. Don't worry about what somebody might think about you. It's none of their business. And what they think about you, I guarantee you that your opinion about yourself, it's not the same opinion that they have. You know what I mean? Your opinion about you is genuine. It's based on all of the things that you may have been through up to this point. So the thing is that we know the truth is the truth. Sometimes we not good with money. That was my case when I was new. So pride and ego stopped me from going to talk to somebody who have got over, let's say, for instance, gambling. I know this person. My sponsor is the best sponsor for me. I want no other sponsor. No other sponsor. That's it. I want to die with that one. When I was going through my issues with gambling, I didn't have to go talk. I went and talked to him. You know why? Because he had that issue. He overcame that issue and he gave me direction. But don't let pride and ego, let what somebody say about you determine who you are. Don't let it define who you are. That's emotional maturity. I don't have to agree with what you think about me. But if my self-esteem is low, what you say about me, I might believe that shit. Because I ain't done no work. When I do work, I stay sober. When I don't do work, I don't stay sober. How many people we know? Nelson, been around here for a while. My sponsor got 38 years. Lisa got 26. She got 130 years. That's my girl. We've seen people with time drink again. We've seen people put guns in their mouth, pull the trigger. We've seen people act up at 30, 35, 40 years sober. We've seen it. We don't know why these people do that, but it gotta have something to do with their emotional maturity, pride and ego. See, how can the newcomer look at us with years of recovery and what we're doing, the behavior is the same behavior that we did on the streets? How can they be convinced that this thing worked and they see me with 31 years and all I'm doing is chasing newcomer girls? Showing them pictures on my phone. Hey bro, look at this. He gonna think that's what we do around here. Somebody gotta grow up around here, man. Somebody gotta grow up. Somebody gotta be a man around here. A man that build other men's hope. I'm a contractor. I don't build houses. I don't build hotels. I take lives that's been ripped apart and give that life a chance to get back together and be whole. That's what I do. I don't want to do nothing else. That's it. That's my purpose. Take a life that's been in darkness for a long time. Dig through that, all of that shame and guilt and all of that stuff, and find the light switch and click. Turn it on. Now the light ain't gonna be that bright, but we're gonna start moving some shit out of the way to make sure that that light shine as bright as possible. You know what I mean? That's my purpose. And I don't have to ask my sponsor. I don't have to ask Kira. I don't have to ask Lisa. I don't have to ask no one. Is it okay for me to live in that purpose? I don't need y'all permission. God already gave me permission to do it. Then what's cool about it, he not only did he give me permission to do it, but he gave me all the tools to do it with. Yeah, and the power. And then he also took into consideration any stupidity that I might have on the way. Anything that I might fumble on, he gonna, hey, we need to work on this before I send you over here. We need to work on that before I send you over here. He'll tell me, put in some work, then I can send you where you need to go. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things is that, like, I love people. Y'all my brothers and my sisters. Say what you want. What you say don't affect me, either good or bad. People try to give me praise and it irks me because I know it's not true. Yeah, you might say, well, I like what Sticks say, or I like what, hey man, this thing here was a gift to me. Alcoholics Anonymous reintroduced me back to the same God that my mom was telling me about. But it gave me an opportunity to build from, the third step, made a decision. That decision is derived from investigation. Steps 1 and 2. Step 3, I better get my life out of my hands. Look at step 1, powerless and unmanageability. Step 2, insanity. So I look at step 3, and then it says, to the care of God. If you get a chance, look up the word care. Matter of fact, somebody got their phone in here. Please look that word up. We looked it up last night. Somebody Google that for me right quick. And when you find out, I want you to read it out loud. The care of God, as we understood him. So the thing is that I'm going all the way back to where I first started to understand God, where I understood him. Then I build from there. And we keep building. We don't stop building. And we make other people's lives around us better. Kind of like a good basketball player. He makes the other players better. It's the same thing in here. But we got to be willing to put it in work. And don't be biased towards people that don't look like us. Wait a minute, did I just say that out loud? I didn't mean to say that out loud, y'all, but too late now. What? How many times up?
Yeah.
Okay, so I go to meetings all over Las Vegas. I come out of a meeting one day and it's a note on my car. And the note read, go back to Africa. And I thought about, well, I've never been to Africa. And the note should have said, go to Africa and I'll pay for it. Don't put no notes on my car without, with a solution. Keep your head up, man. It's something good about all of us. It's not over. It's a lot of value. And the parts that we don't need, we without regret, get rid of them. And the parts that are still salvageable, we sit down with a sponsor and say, how can I rebuild this? No, not you, Mark. That's my sister right there. Sister just walked in. Good to see you, sister. We're family. All of us. It's family. Don't exclude nobody. Welcome the people that you see that you don't know. Don't be afraid. Welcome them. Don't just say hi to your friends. Welcome the people that you don't know. Give them an opportunity to be a part of your life, because they want the same thing you want. Nothing's different about us. Somebody got that definition? Read it for me, bro.
So, God's care, a concept that expresses the belief that God actively watches over and provides for the world.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me share.
We're going to move right along here. The next speaker that we have is somebody who is super near and dear to my heart. I met this girl as a favor to somebody. I went to this person's house and I sat and I talked with her, and I was not wanting to take on any sponsees at the time. But God had other plans, and I started sponsoring Kira 3+ years ago. And I fell in love with this girl, and we have such an intimate relationship of going deeper and deeper. And she is somebody who I have witnessed walk through and question some of the things that have been driving dysfunction in her family, in her work, in her relationship with God. And she just keeps asking the questions. And one of the things that I love about her too is that she doesn't make any one person her one-stop shop. She goes to meetings, she talks to different people, and she's willing to seek and let her higher power guide her to who is a yes to talk to about what. And she doesn't have any shame blocking her from asking these questions. And as she heals, she shares her ahas with me, not just the things that she's working through. And we get to walk through things and get excited together. And I'm so grateful that Kira gets to come and speak. She is 3 years sober from alcohol and drugs, and she's going to be our 10-minute speaker today. So welcome, Kira.
Hi guys, I'm Kira and I'm an alcoholic. So emotional sobriety, it's everything to me. It's everything to me. To me it was really important when I came into Alcoholics Anonymous to get sober. I didn't want to just stop drinking. I wanted relief from what I was feeling inside, because I was so sick inside. I describe it like I just felt like this inside constantly. And it wasn't until I drank or used drugs that I didn't feel like this. And I wasn't wound up, and I wasn't anxious, and I wasn't ready to blow up on someone. I wanted that relief. And so to me, emotional sobriety is working towards having that relief in my recovery, because it's not just we stop drinking and using drugs and we get the relief. We have to do our steps, and we have to continue to keep questioning. And so because I'm only speaking for a short time, I want to talk about a specific part of emotional sobriety that's important to me, which is overcoming a lot of my powerlessness over people, and what that has looked like for me. And it started when I was growing up. I was a people pleaser and a fixer. I was an only child in an alcoholic family, and if my mom is crying and I'm upset, I'm gonna go fix her feelings. And if my dad's angry, I'm gonna try to do everything I can to make him not angry. And I felt like my parents married. I don't know why I took this on as a child. It probably wasn't. It's not true, but I felt like I had to like save my parents and save their marriage, and I took this on as like a young child, which I don't know why I did that, but that's just like what ended up happening. And I was this fixer, and you know, because of that, like I had so much like fear and anxiety. I didn't trust anything. I didn't trust anyone. And so alcohol and drugs really became my solution in that, you know, like I was like, wow, like maybe I don't have to feel this way that I feel. I don't have to feel wound up all the time. Maybe I can get high, or I can get drunk, you know, and that became my solution. And you know, back to like with people, during my addiction, I had really sick, awful relationships with people. And I didn't know how to talk to people. I didn't know what was too much or not enough in a relationship, in a friendship, in a roommate, anything, in employers. I didn't know what was like good or bad for me as far as people. I had no discernment or standards about the people that I brought into my life. And this area of my life was so broken and sick, the way that I handled my relationships and my experiences with people. And like a small example of this is like, I came into recovery, and I was like telling my sponsor, like, it was like early recovery. Like I would call her, and like, I was like living with this girl that I called my friend, and we were best friends and we were roommates. And I was like, oh, she's making me so mad, and Lola. And she would like stop me, and she's like, this is the person you call your friend? Like, what do you guys have in common? Like, you pop pills together? Like what, like, does she even really know you? Like, she sounds awful. Like, why is this your friend? Like, why are you fighting for this relationship? Like, and I was like, oh my God, what are my friends? What are my relationships, you know? And like, I didn't know how to handle even the smallest things. Like, I remember early recovery calling my sponsor, like freaking out because my roommate at the time was like asking me to borrow ibuprofen, and I know it sounds so small, but it was so connected to like this whole like people-pleasing mess of like letting her walk all over me all the time. And this was my MO, was then I blow up over the small things, and it was so sick. And I had no idea how to talk to people and how to say like, yeah, you can have ibuprofen this time, but next time I really need you to get your own, right? Like, I didn't know how to say that. I didn't know how to lovingly like set boundaries with people. I like literally, like, that was just so out of my wheelhouse. I was either like a doormat, or I was like blowing up on you, and then you're confused why, because I'm saying yes to all this, I'm agreeing to all this. So it's like, why are you mad all of a sudden? Like, it was just like insanity. It was so dysfunctional the way that I dealt with people. And I constantly gaslit myself. Like, I never trusted myself. Like, if I felt to say no to someone, I would talk myself out of it. If I felt like intuitively that this person wasn't right for me, I would make up some story like why I have to stay in the relationship. And people just really became my higher power. It was like I had no God. Like, people were my God. Like, I drank and used over people so many times. And even like at work and stuff, like just even my interactions with strangers, like I was so at the whim of others and expectations of how I should be treated and all of this. And so how does this like all connect to emotional sobriety? So when I got into recovery, I saw my sponsor talk to people in a way that's loving and takes care of herself still. You know, I saw her tell people no without blowing up or being mean to them. I saw her be honest with me in a way that I really heard and that was loving. And I saw her take care of herself, like, and I was like mind blown. Like, I had never seen this before. Like, my parents were like people pleaser martyrs. Like, you know, my family, it was all about like counting favors and whatever. Like, I had never seen that. And, you know, the people that I had, like my friends and all that too, was like that too. Like, I had never seen someone lovingly take care of themselves and be honest with others in a way that's kind and respectful. And and you guys, you know, I saw you guys like trusting each other, which I never like saw that before. Like, I never saw this real trust. I saw people like in meetings you guys laugh at stuff. You guys like stuff that would like enrage me, like made you guys like laugh. You know what I mean? Like, and that was so cool to me. Like, and for me it was always either 0 to 100. I'm either full selfish or only thinking about myself. I'm taking care of myself. Fuck you. I'm not helping you. I can't do this with you. Or I'm like people pleasing and I'm taking care of you and I'm hurting myself. And it was always just this like 0 to 100 constant back and forth. Like there was never any in between. And it caused me so much like hurt and frustration. And I had no emotional sobriety, I really didn't. And then thank God for the steps. I got to do the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. And in the 12 steps, I got to do an inventory. And I got to really see my issues with people laid out. Like, that was, like, the first time. It kind of started to make sense. And, like, that was the first time, my sponsor tells me, I'm a people pleaser. I poke the bear. I self-abandon. I don't know if you guys identify with those character defects, but it's, like, those came up for me, And I was like, it kind of started to make sense, like we get relief when we hear these things because if we can look at ourselves in an honest way, then there might be a solution. So I was willing to look at myself and where I was placing myself in these positions that I thought others were just doing to me, but I was placing myself there. And I started taking small baby steps towards taking care of myself while still remaining loving and kind and helpful, and I started to learn that it doesn't have to be all or nothing. And I got to do, like, baby steps with it. Like, for an example is, like, let's say, like, I had a friend and it's, like, they're asking me for rides too much or whatever. Instead of just, like, cutting that friend off or, like, completely self-abandoning and, like, doing something that doesn't feel good for me, it's, like, I get to say, like, hey, I can't give you rides anymore. I can only give you rides on this day. But I hope that we could still be friends, And if they accept that, great. Then, we'll move forward that way in our friendship. And if they don't, like, that's okay too. And I can lovingly, like, disconnect when my needs aren't being met in, like, a respectful way where I'm not hurt, I'm not blowing up on them. It's just what I need. And then, if it aligns with what they need. And it's okay today. Like, it's simple today for me. And I want to talk about an experience, too. Recently, this was, like, I think in, like, May, I got to do this with my mom. And this was a person that was huge on my inventory. Like, this was a person that I never thought that I could do this with. I know it came up on my around 3 years for a reason. I could not have done this in early sobriety. And I got to lovingly set boundaries with her, and there was like a period where I didn't talk to her for a couple of weeks. And then when we finally had the conversation of like what I needed in the relationship, thankfully she was really ready to listen. And I'm really grateful for that because I went to like my MO, like I was like telling my sponsor, I can't do this anymore. I don't want her in my life. I can't do this, and I got to practice what I learned in early recovery on my mom. Like, instead of pushing her away and ending that relationship, I get to try and do my part to let her know what I need, and if she honors that, then we can have a relationship. So I called her. And I told her what I needed for the relationship to continue. I told her, we talked about my boundaries, and I didn't word it like that, but I just told her what I needed in the relationship for the relationship to continue. And in the phone call, it was interesting because there was this long pause after I told her what I needed in the relationship. It was long, like it was like a 2-minute pause on a phone call. Like it was like long. And I think she was processing, probably was biting her tongue, and I was processing, and I wanted more than anything to do what I do and to apologize and fix her feelings and say, I'm so sorry that, I didn't talk to you, and I'm so sorry that I had to do this, and I hope, like, you don't feel bad, and blah, 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 and, like, fix her feelings in that. But I didn't, and I sat in the silence because that's all I could do. I could not speak because I would say that. And I was, like, praying, like, God, please show me what to do. Please show me the next thing to do. Please show me what to say. And it was, like, this calm came over me and this clarity. And I realized that I was wanting to fix her again and fix her feelings again. And I realized that, and I was like, okay, God, I can't do that. Like, show me what to do next. And it was just like a miracle. I was like, how's your dog? Like, let's keep it light. Let's keep it simple. And that's my relationship with my mom today. We talk and we have nice conversations. Is it surface level? Yes. But is it safe for me? And do I get to still have her in my life? Yes, I do. And like, what I learned from this is, like, if I could do this with my mom, like, I can do this with anybody. Like, I was going into that okay with, like, whatever outcome. And that's what's really changed for me is, like, God is my higher power today and not people. And, like, I trust the outcome. Like, if I'm honoring my intuition and what I need and the relationship doesn't work out, then that's God's will for me, and I'm willing to listen to that. And that's what I trust today. I don't trust my alcoholism. I don't trust fear, like what you said, Lisa. I loved what you shared. Thank you. I listen to God, and that's my higher power. And how much time?
A couple minutes.
Okay, so yeah, I think it's really important to take inventory and to continue to work at these things to maintain our emotional sobriety, because that's kind of like the theme of what we've been talking about today, like you shared too, other Lisa. And like, because I was willing to continue to take inventory on this, and I wanted it a different way, like, I knew it was gonna be hard, but my sponsor told me, like, look, if you can't do this with your mom, it's, who are you gonna do it with? Like, you can't be powerless over anybody, and, like, I don't want powerlessness over people today. Like, I don't want anyone to be my higher power except God, and I want to love all of God's children, and let people be God's children. Let people make mistakes, and let people, like, not have these crazy expectations of people, and so it's important that we keep asking why, and we keep seeking to understand. And if we bring these things to our sponsor, if this, like, relates to you at all, like, if we bring this stuff to our sponsor, our spiritual advisor, and we really, really want another way, God will show the way. It happens. It's happened in my life over and over and over again. And that's what gets me closer to this emotional sobriety and this peace that I wanted ever since a child. Like, that's why I started using, right? Like, I just didn't want to feel this discontentment that I have been feeling my whole life. And so I get to work towards that today in recovery. And that's all I got. Thank you.
I didn't get no hug out the hospital.
Yeah. You'll get it later. All right. Wow, this has been fantastic. So our next speaker I kind of known for 54 years. I didn't really get to know her until I started to get sober. And I would have to say that it's been a journey where I can say I know her pretty well now, but there's still more. Obviously, I'm talking about myself. Like, how do you know someone for 54 years? That's crazy. All right. I'm Lisa. I'm an alcoholic and an addict. So there's a lot of things I realized in my recovery that helped me to get to the place of being able to be what I like to call matter of fact with people. When I have a charge, when I have a story about who I think I'm supposed to be, it makes it impossible for me to be true to myself and really look out for the highest good for everyone. When I was growing up, I fantasized about who I needed to be when I grew up so that I could protect myself and I could get everything that I thought I needed. I had very, very high expectations of myself and other people. And I developed what I like to consider and call the false self. This false self was one I wanted everybody to see. And then there was a layer of it I wanted no one to see. These were the two layers, the one I wanted the world to see and the one that I was afraid that you would see, that I walked around with and I had no idea who I really was. Who do I need to be liked by you? What do I need to do so that you don't leave me? I had terrifying fears of abandonment, and it was years before I had the aha that I was already abandoned by myself. I didn't know who I was. And there's a saying that a man who stands for nothing can fall for anything.
Got that right.
And, I love when Styx was sharing, because the reason why I was plagued with this toxic fear of what people thought of me is because of what I thought of me. It's like we're walking around and we have these set ideas of where we think we're supposed to be, who we think we're supposed to be, what we think we're supposed to have, and an evaluation that tells us that we're coming up short. And we have ideas and opinions and judgments about ourselves that maybe somebody told us, maybe a parent, maybe some other person that we gave authority to, and we've taken it on and made it part of who we think we are. And we're walking around and we have little knives, these little ideas that are so toxic, and they're all over us, and all someone needs to do is brush up against us, and they hurt us. We just need to, we have antenna out for who doesn't like me. When we're not okay, when we're full of toxic shame, we'll walk into a room and 90% of the people can like us, and 10% may not like us, and we will focus on the 10%. It's not about trying to be helpful. We don't have time for that. We will obsess about that. But what that really is it's just a mirror that shows us what's going on with us. So what I used to do was I would run through people. I would use people. I would keep everybody at an arm's distance, and I would only draw people close enough to get what I thought I needed. But the moment somebody saw my ass show, the moment somebody saw me not okay, I started to feel really uncomfortable in relationships, and I would be on to the next person. And I picked emotionally unavailable people because they would allow me the space of being able to be comfortable, not really being vulnerable. And then I would complain about them. Because see, if I complain about them, then nobody needs to look at me. There's something so incredible about the steps that we have in all the different programs that we are in. There's something so incredible about learning, not just that we need to take responsibility for our thoughts, feelings, and actions, but that we want to. That the freedom is in that path.
Come on.
It's funny whenever I see somebody in a meeting and they're questioning about why they should do a fourth step and why they should do the steps. They're coming and they're seeing it with this toxic shame that says, oh no, I already know what a piece of shit I am. I already know how guilty I am. I'm not going to do that so somebody else gets to affirm that. I have safely evaded anybody that could even hint to that. And now you want me to what? And tell it to who? And then do what about it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And we think, though, that the power is really outside of ourselves, and we think we deserve punishment. We think we deserve abandonment. Because if you saw the things I did with my body, if you're respectable or worth anything, you certainly wouldn't love me. And I believed that. If you told me that you loved me, I believed there's something wrong with you. How could you love me? Did you not know? But you don't know, you see? Because I wasn't showing you. I wasn't even talking about it to myself. I wasn't admitting it. And there was something also, because I had these toxic thoughts, I had these toxic feelings. You see, I learned that when you think a thought that's out of alignment with your inner being, your soul, it has a lack of peace to it. There's something wrong. And the more you believe it, the more your soul screams about it. And you become so uncomfortable. But because we believe in this society that anger is proof of something, I'm angry about this, so it must be true that this person hurt me and I'm a victim. but actually, my expectations of you put myself in that position. My choosing you to do this thing that's setting you up to fail put me in this position. And I'm using everything in my life, whether I realize it or not, to prove to me that I don't deserve love, that I don't deserve peace. Emotional drunk after emotional drunk. You know, we live with this inner pharmacy. I'm in several programs, and one of the programs is Adult Children of Alcoholics, and I had done that program on and off for most of my recovery. And if you grew up in an addicted or dysfunctional home, you might feel a yes at some point to check it out. But what I had to really come to peace about, what I had to look at within myself was, where did I get all of the data that I have built up this toxic story about myself from? And start to sort it out, to find out what really resonates as true. And that the person that I was protecting in this world by trying to be someone I was not real. That if I was willing to take responsibility a little bit at a time, I'd be able to question some of the stuff that I believe. My mom told me that she wished I was never born, that I ruined her life. She wanted to divorce my dad. That was my first toxic belief. And that was when I was born. That's when I was there. I mean, she thought this throughout her whole pregnancy. And she made sure I knew in any fit of anger. My mom called me a leech and lazy. She said, "What good are you?" My mom was a really unwell person because she didn't avail herself of the tools to heal her own stuff. And it took me years to recognize that I was just carrying on the legacy of toxicity, right? And because I was willing to look at and make peace and heal it within my own mind, I had more and more room to be able to see her through clean eyes and see past all that. I love what you said, Sticks. To see past all that shame, all that fear, all that guilt, to get to the light. Right. To get to the light. I speak to the light in her when I talk to her, because I don't have anything left against that woman now, because I totally understand. If I was in her shoes, thinking the things that she was thinking, going through what she thought was her highest good, I would have done, said, maybe even worse. And I get it. I get it. But one of the things that stopped me from really making any real quick progress in early recovery was I had a terrifying fear of my feelings. You see, I stuffed my feelings. I avoided my feelings. But they don't like being stuffed, and they don't like being avoided. And so they build up like a time bomb, and they go off. Come on. And so what was I afraid of? I equated feel your feelings, lose your shit. And because I had no tools, no idea, I was terrified. I was so scared. I had been twice a visitor of a psychiatric unit in Long Island, New York, and one time for 2 months. And this was in my teens, and once in my early 20s. And I was like, oh no, if I feel these feelings, I'm going to end up a permanent resident of one of these places. And I didn't want to go there. But I learned that there's this beautiful process that naturally happens in the healing process. If we don't feed our feelings, but we just feel our feelings. If we allow what comes up, because naturally in the course of our life and in what's happening, something will get triggered up, like Kira was saying, with her mom and the stuff that came up around it. And she had gotten to a place where she could look at it, question, and feel the feelings around it. And there were lots of feelings around it, but there were lots of toxic ideas around it. And we got to question it. And she got to get clear what was right for her, what resonated for her, and she was able to present that and let go of the results and clean up that relationship. But more so, there was forgiveness, love, and tolerance because of that. And she got to learn how to do that. I learned that if I feel my feelings without feeding my feelings, what comes up, it's on its way out, and I can deal with things one day at a time. We live one day at a time in all of our recoveries, just for today, Just for today, I'm going to deal with what's coming up. I'm not going to borrow trouble from the future. I'm not going to add all the other reasons why I think I should feel a feeling and be toxic about it. I actually can just be right now, grieve the fantasy of the childhood I never had, grieve the fantasy of the relationships that I thought should have been different, question the stuff that I think that I need to be okay, and let my higher power and people who can gather around me and lovingly give me unconditional guidance can mirror back to me. You see, my first sponsor, her name was Barbara. I wanted her to be my sponsor because of the energy and the way that she presented herself. I felt like this could be somebody that I could open up to. But I was scared because this woman didn't do half the stuff that I did. I was a stripper for a whole decade back when we were on stage, the 90s. And I did things, I kept crossing my own lines, the things that I thought were going to be okay. And I justified and then added to my toxic story, and I got more armor of who I thought I needed to be. And I had things happen to me, multiple rapes, all kinds of stuff happen. And I just felt like each thing was just more and more proof of why my mom was right. I was a mistake. I shouldn't be here. I was constantly wanting to kill myself. I was constantly thinking about that. That was like an addiction in and of itself. And this woman was the first one to give me unconditional love. And here are my fifth step. All the reasons why, because that's what it really is, right? We think that we're getting down to just cause and condition, but we're doing something else when we share. And we look and we're willing to be wrong about things, and we share with another human being. We learn the gift of being able to go, is this making me unlovable? Is this making me unlovable? What do you think about this? Oh, well, you got into this situation because of this. Oh, and so this is just me running on fear. It's not really that big a deal. I can do something different. It's just information. You mean I'm not the piece of shit that I thought I was? You mean actually I just was running on the wrong programming and that I could learn to do something differently? So I feel like I alluded to earlier, emotional sobriety is no matter where you're at, no matter what's coming up to heal, allowing yourself to be living in day-tight compartments and allowing yourself the self-love and nurture to give yourself maybe the love and attention your inner 7-year-old didn't get, right? Or the 12-year-old, and say, none of that meant anything. I took it on and I told myself stories and I believed them. And then I lived as if they were true. And then I saw the world through the filter of my own beliefs. Right. And I projected my power outside of myself. And I was a victim of nothing because I now have the empowerment to see this is what Lisa does to put herself in a position to get hurt. Come on. Anything that ever bothers me today, and things come up to heal. I have to go, where am I having some sort of expectation or condition where I'm either doing something I shouldn't be doing or not doing something I should be doing? Why do I see it this way? Is it hysterical because it's historical? Is it just an opportunity for me to let go of some of that stored grief? Or is it also that there's another lesson, some tool, some insight that not only can empower me today, but on the other side of this can help me help somebody tomorrow?
There you go.
And then the coolest thing is that each thing that we heal and we face within ourselves, it gets to a place where it's no big deal. I would not have said anything like I was a stripper, I sold my body for money, I did drugs, I was in a cult for a second, I was raped by 3 guys when I was 17. I don't feel anything, and it's not because I'm numb. It's because I made peace with it. Come on. Because I see it for what it was. When I was raped by 3 guys, it was a week and a half's time. And I had people tell me, it's your fault, you were asking for it, and whatever like that. And then I had people tell me, it's not your fault, nobody deserves that, blah, blah, blah. And I knew that with all my toxicity, I believed both of them and neither of them at the same time, because something within me said, there has to be something here that I could learn and I can heal and I could be free. And I'll end with this. When we're willing to be wrong about whatever it is and to find where we are putting ourselves in a position to get hurt, where we step on the toes of our fellows, where we put ourselves in positions because we're seeking something that somebody else has our power from, the answer comes. Because in that opening of being willing to be wrong, we can find out what the truth is. And what I learned, and it set me free, was that I was not listening to my intuition. And I know I wasn't. Because what I can remember before that happened was the rationalization and justification for going where I went. The funny feeling I had that I ignored. And the emotional sobriety is allowing ourselves to have the tools to feel our feelings, to face stuff, to learn new tools, to share and to join vulnerably, but also at the very crux of it, the ultimate point is to be thine own self, be true, but all the way to my innermost self, down deep where the fundamental connection with God is. And if I can listen and be true to what resonates, I have an inner compass that allows me to see when I'm off the beam, when I am running on some story of who I think I am, and who I think I need to be, and who I think you're there for me to get what I want, to not lose something, and to be okay. So thank you for listening.